This week I'm doing another fresh stash video. Like I promised a few weeks ago, it was going to be another set of Star Wars pop figures. But this time around, we're not going movies. No. If you want to see the movies one, click up there. Now this time around, I'm not doing movies. We're going The Mandalorian. Oh, that's that TV series over on Disney Plus. You know, the one everybody's talking about. Well, let's get started right after the break. Hey guys, welcome back to the Pod Noob. That's me. This week around, we're not doing a mystery box, we're doing another fresh stash video. And it's another Star Wars fresh stash. And by now you should know that I get my pop figures at Tiny Titan WE. These guys have been really helpful. I buy them myself. They don't sponsor me, but they have been extremely supportive and I want to thank them for that. I'll leave you a link in the description if you want to check them out. Just have a look and see what they have in their collection or in their shop. I'm not going to do fresh stashes that's only Star Wars. There's others coming, I promise. But in just a few days, or a few days ago, kind of depending on when I put this video live, The Mandalorian Season 2 has started on Disney Plus. I'm looking forward, I was looking forward, depending on when I put this video live, to that one a lot. I enjoyed that first season tremendously, and I think it's one of the best things that Disney did for Star Wars in the last few years. So I'm really hoping that they nail it again with this one. If you're looking at this in the far future, you already know. Don't tell me anything. Don't spoil! Cheeky fellas. Or ladies. Damn it. Let's get started, of course, with the most important, well, not the most important character. The main character of the whole series. The namesake of the whole series. The one... Okay, I'll just grab it. The Mandalorian himself. This is a beautiful pop figure. The whole aesthetic of the Mandalorian in this series, but also in this pop figure, just... we all kind of remember the bounty hunter back from the Star Wars movies. And if you ever played these games, you're quite familiar with these people and the whole story behind them. There's a lot of lore about the Mandalorians. There's a lot of lore. They're not just the bounty hunters. There's a story. If you ever get the time, make sure to check it out. They touch about it in the series, but there's so much more. There's so much history to that whole story. The whole cliffhanger at the end of season 1. If you know about Mandalorian lore, you were just like, what? But it has this aesthetic, the armor set, the fact that they have this helmet on that they can never take off. Crazy, right? Makes it an extremely nice character to look at, the whole armor set. And it translates really well in this pop figure. I think the big heads for that Mandalorian helmet is a perfect fit. He's beautifully portrayed in the series. And he's the whole inner secrecy, the almost communicating emotions through just body language, because you can't see his face. Silence in this case with this character says more than expression, which is quite exceptional. And I hope they can continue that whole direction into the next season. So The Mandalorian, quite happy I have this one in my collection. Just had to have it. When it comes to The Mandalorian, you can't have a Mandalorian collection without the freaking Mandalorian. Come on. Okay, let's get to the next one. And the next one is EG-11. A robot, but not just a robot. If you have seen the series, you know who this is. I'm not going to spoil too much in case you have not seen this first series. But what I will tell you is the reason I picked this one. First off, I like the character and the way they handle him in the series. What I can tell you without spoiling is that whole series is basically a Far West story set in space. Like, Star Wars is considered a space opera, like the whole way the story unfolds and the way they kind of the whole storyline between the different characters, the epicness, the almost royal bloodlines that you have throughout the story. The Mandalorian is more of a cowboy story, basically, a Far West story. And that is something you see aesthetically in the footage in the series, but also in the way the story develops. The Mandalorian is the Lone Ranger type of guy, but also these side characters and what role they play. Apart from this character itself, it's also the voice actor that kind of drew me in to this character and that had me interested. If you know who Taika Waititi is, I had to kind of check on my screen because his name is kind of particular. I have a hard time remembering it. But he is also the director of Thor Ragnarok, which is the best Thor movie out there. I'm not going to lie. I was not a big fan of Thor until that movie. Until that movie was just like, Thor is so vanilla. Pff, Jesus Christ, man. Goody tissues. Just the whole story arc of that character bored the hell out of me till Thor Ragnarok. And it had nothing to do with Chris Hemsworth. It had everything to do with the way they kind of set up the story and the character. And I love the Scandinavian mythology, but I don't know, it didn't do it all justice. It felt so hollow to me till that movie. And one of the major reasons is, of course, Taika Waititi. And of course, one of the main reasons is Taika Waititi. Anyways, I love this guy. He does a lot of amazing stuff. He's from New Zealand. He actually plays a role in Thor Ragnarok. I don't know if everybody knows that. He's the rock guy. Like that talks with this really tone of voice like that. He also has this series that is still running. They had 2 seasons, I think. I hope a 3rd season will be coming. It's called What We Do in the Shadows. They also had a movie. It's a New Zealand production, and it's about vampires that live in our world. But it's so funny. Everything he does, in my opinion at least, is extremely funny. So I like this guy. I really like this guy. And I think, that is one of the reasons why I picked this. Like, I like what EG-11 does in the series, but just the fact that he's voiced. And to be honest, you wouldn't recognize him. You need to Google it to know that it's him, because he doesn't talk with a human voice. Well, kind of human voice, but it's transformed so much that you really need to I don't think you can hear that voice of IG-11 and think, oh, that's that guy. No, you won't. So that's number 2. Let's move on to the next one. And the next one is kind of similar. Cool. I don't remember how they pronounced it in the series. Cool. Yeah, we're getting Disney Plus in next week, actually. Well, you're probably watching this in the future, so we got it a few weeks ago. This is a character. Cool is a character that also in that whole idea of a Star Wars Far West story has this really typical role in that kind of story. But he has this thing to his character that is extremely funny. And I don't want to spoil it because it's extremely funny when you see it. Make sure to check it out. But he has this way of kind of closing down discussions. He can have a discussion with you, but there's a point like, that's it. You know when you're done discussing with him. That's all I'm going to say. I love the character. On top of that, I recognize the voice like everybody did when the first episode where he appeared came up. And I started Googling, and it's kind of crazy, but he's voiced by none other than Nick Nolte. Nick Nolte voices Cool. And it's kind of funny because they never really, for as far as I know, actually announced that he would be part of the series. Nick Nolte it's not the biggest name in the last few years, but if you're a kid from the 80s, like if you watched a lot of 80s movies like I did, he was a big part of our youth in these kinds of movies, just like Eddie Murphy was. Like they were kind of around that same time period. It was kind of a surprise. You recognize that voice immediately because he has a really typical voice. And you're like, oh my God, is that Nick Nolte? You start Googling it and bam, there you go. It is Nick Nolte that voiced it. And they never announced it, which is kind of, the fact that they did do that makes it more special. Like you can throw names as much as you want. Like, I'm sorry. You can throw around names as much as you want. Woo, close, almost did it again. But if you kind of manage to surprise people with a voice actor, hey, I love it. Okay, the last one. Look, I know, again, like my last video, the last one is kind of obvious, but it's something I needed to have, and I'm just going to show you guys. It's the child, Baby Yoda, like he's called in general. Well, everybody calls him Baby Yoda, but he's called the child. Not going to explain too much about it, but yeah, it's a kid. Man, this is going to be, let me put it this way. It is a baby from the Yoda race. And he is an important part of that series. I said the Mandalorian is one of the main characters, but let's be honest, I think Baby Yoda is, in many people's opinion, kind of the lead in this whole series. And he's extremely cute. And the way they did it, like how they animated him, how they kind of incorporated that little character into the story, how that relation between him and the Mandalorian is working, it's just beautiful. You can tell that the box is kind of weird. It's kind of an oddly shaped box, but that's because of the big ears. He needs a special box. And you have different versions. You have the one where he's holding a cup, and this is the one I wanted to get. I got the choice, like the guys at Tiny Titan where I ordered this box gave me the choice, like, do you want one with the cup, or do you want one with the frog? I was like, come on, man, frog. Are you kidding me? He's eating a frog. Crazy little critter. But that's the fresh stash for this episode, Star Wars The Mandalorian. If the series is about to start, enjoy. If it already started, go watch it again. But that's it for this episode. There will be a fresh stash coming in a few weeks. And there's going to be a new episode anyways in 2 weeks. That's probably going to be another mystery box. Guys, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you like my videos and you would like to see all my future videos, all these fresh stashes and all these mystery boxes, well, make sure to subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a video. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.